So Lisa Leslie is one of the greatest female basketball players of all time. I don't think anyone is really going to question that one because, well, she's Lisa Leslie. Like, she was good enough that she was in Uncle Drew as far as I'm aware. But one thing when it comes to, a lot of people are talking about how, even throughout the season, how a lot of like the WNBA legends, how a lot of these people didn't embrace Caitlin Clark and they were very anti-Caitlin Clark. And I actually think because Cheryl Swoops was the most vocal one, Cheryl Swoops was the one that was being put forward by the WNBA, I think that made it more of an issue. But Lisa Leslie had been pro-Caitlin the entire year. Heck, Angel McCautry was pro-Caitlin. Did I say Caitlin? Caitlin. We've got, like, Cynthia Cooper was extremely pro-Caitlin. And I think a lot of these high-level WNBA players are, like, just really happy that the game is in a good spot. And then, obviously, you've got your Cheryl Swoops of the world, who are Cheryl Swoops. But, like, you've got Lisa Leslie, who, under a bunch of different posts, seeing this from an OG makes me happy should really be the norm. And this is obviously after the Indiana Fever announced their brand new, like, state-of-the-art, double the size of any other practice facility in the entire WNBA. So, they announced that, and obviously, Lisa Leslie, wow, the impact of Caitlin Clark has really been a game changer. Love it. And throughout this whole thing, Lisa Leslie is just, saying it like it is. Saying it like it is, and heck, even for like Alicia Clark came out and said, the thing I really love is that these younger generation players who have now been passed the torch won't have to know what it feels like sleeping in an airport because of delay, what being told not to go 100% because the court isn't safe, what having to move out of your locker room after every season feel like, what not having proper resources and still showing up and thriving at your job feels like. All they know is professionalism, professional treatment, and I love that for them. Like, they're really not going to know what the lack of opportunity feels like. And that's the reality of the situation, is that, look, the reality of the situation is that, like, there is no Caitlin Clark without Maya Moore. There's no massive facility, there's no WNBA boom without Caitlin Clark. But there's no Caitlin Clark without Maya Moore. There's no Maya Moore without Lisa Leslie. There's no Lisa Leslie without Cheryl Miller. Like, the reality is that the sport improves at a really high rate. Or the sport improves, like, obviously at a high enough rate. When everything improves, it becomes better for everybody. Like, for all these legends, heck, there's more opportunities now outside. There's more opportunities now for these legends than there ever was before, as far as, like, well, not when they were playing, but, like, than there would have been 3 or 4 years ago. Like, for all these legends, like, you're seeing, like, Cynthia Cooper sitting courtside at, like, massive sold-out games and, like, being talked about. And I think the WNBA did such a poor job when it came to promoting the legends of the game, because it was always, they only ever looked at the legends when it was to tear down Caitlin Clark. They weren't trying to uplift the legends. They weren't trying to do that type of stuff. But I think it is a very much interesting one here when we're looking at stuff like this. But it's nice to see legends actually kind of being like, you know what, we're happy for this. Impact of Caitlin Clark has been great. And I think, look, if you even asked for, like, Aaliyah Boston, if you asked Aaliyah Boston, why is this happening? Her answer is probably Caitlin Clark. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter why. It really doesn't matter why. And I think that's where the WNBA have the biggest problem, is, like, they're not happy that, they're not happy that they're not getting the growth in the exact way they wanted to. Because, like, it's one thing to have growth, but not, like, you're never always going to get growth exactly how you want it. Because if you were to get growth exactly how you want it, then, like, it would have grown in the first place. Like, you would have been pushing X, Y, and Z player, would have made the game grow. But it didn't. It grew through Caitlin Clark. It grew through college. It grew through, you can still give 75% of the credit to Caitlin Clark. But there is still another 25% for the Angel Reeses, the Cameron Brinks, the Paige Beckers, all of these players. I think those players do deserve some credit. The vast majority of the credit, obviously, is on Caitlin Clark. But there's definitely some credit for these other players. And I think to diminish the others, to diminish it is as just Caitlin Clark is wrong. But I also think to not acknowledge Caitlin Clark and just say, oh, it's because of all the rookies. Because, yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like saying, you know, basketball grew in the 80s because of all the guards. Or it's like instead of giving like Magic and Bird credit in 1980, you decided to, you know, being like, you know, there's a lot of people that are now Milwaukee fans because of Sidney Moncrief. Let's just go and talk about that. So for me, that's just kind of my opinion on it all, because I'm like, I think it is an interesting one. Like, it is a very, very interesting one when it comes to the growth of the league. But it's nice to see a Lisa Leslie seeing something good and then actually talking about it in like a positive way, because Sheryl Swoopes is the most vocal of the ex-players. It does make it seem like, oh, these other players are salty and stuff. And the problem is like the ones that were the most vocal, like again, Aja Wilson was the quote unquote face of the WNBA before Caitlin Clark got there, and Aja Wilson was one of the more vocal people out against all of this stuff. So it does obviously show that narrative, but at least we're now seeing from some legends that it's not the case. And even, like, I think All-Star Weekend really shut down that narrative, especially with Cheryl Miller, who, look, regardless of, like, all the other ones, like, Cheryl Miller, in a lot of people's eyes, is the greatest female basketball player of all time. And there's, like, Cheryl Miller is at the level for a lot of people that they believe there will never be another player like Cheryl Miller. Like, she was dropping 100 in high school games. Like, it was madness. Like, she is one of the greatest to ever do it. But seeing how she embraced Caitlin Clark really did help things. And now it's nice to see Lisa Leslie, who, again, is one of the best known players in women's basketball ever. So that is a important thing. That's a really, really important thing, to see the legends of the game. And I'm not even talking about like completely, fully, absolutely embrace Caitlin Clark, but to at least not try to ignore what she's done for the sport of basketball. But anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys think that this is anything? Do you guys think this is a big deal? But I do like the fact that there are WNBA legends actually willing to credit Caitlin Clark for what she has done for the sport. Because what she has done has been crazy. And to be fair, Dawn Staley did the same thing last year. Kim Mulkey did the same thing last year. But it is nice to see, because since she went into the WNBA, it is something that hasn't really happened that often. But anyway, I'll see you guys.